Should you choose peanuts or whole grain pretzels if you're at a party and trying to manage your weight? The answer depends on your genes. Here to tell us more is 22 News registered dietitian Nancy Dell. Nancy, thanks for being here and coming out in the snow.
This is so exciting. I couldn't miss it.
Yeah, it is very exciting. So tell me about how your genes can actually affect what you eat for a diet.
Well, think of your genes as the instruction manual for your body. Like, for example, some people can drink milk and have great digestion and no problem. Other people drink milk and their genes say, we don't like this, and you get a stomach ache, okay? In weight management, we now know that when certain people eat carbohydrates, for example, they may absorb those carbohydrates and turn them into fat, while other people may eat fat and turn fat into fat more likely. So it really depends on your specific genes, and when you match your diet to your genes, you can lose weight more effectively.
Now, it does make sense because you think, well, some people can eat something over and over and over again and not gain weight, while others can. So it makes perfect sense. Now, how is this test conducted?
Well, the test is conducted with a very simple swab. It kind of looks like a pipe cleaner on the end, and we put this inside your cheek and rub it about 20 times on the right cheek, and then take the second swab and rub it 20 times on the second cheek. So we're collecting cells, collecting DNA, and then we send it off to the lab. But one very interesting thing about how they discovered this is at Stanford University, the researchers were doing a study just to see what is the best diet, a low-fat diet or a low-carb diet. And what they did is they randomly assigned people to different types of diets. Like some people were on the Atkins plan or the Zone. Those were the low-carb diets. And other people were on the Dean Ornish plan, which is low-fat, or the Learn program, which is also low-fat. And then they said, let's just see who loses more weight. When the study was done, they said, all diets are the same. It does not matter. Some people in each program lost 2 or 3 pounds, and some lost 13 or 14 pounds. So they're all the same. It doesn't really matter. Then the gene people come along and say, excuse me, can we look at the genes of the people in the study? And when they did, they found that if you were lucky enough to be assigned to the diet that matched your genes, you were the one that lost the 14 pounds, not just 3.
That is incredible.
It is. If you were unlucky and you were assigned to the plan that didn't match your genes, you didn't lose much weight. So the Wall Street Journal, I brought the Wall Street Journal article with me. The Wall Street Journal article shows that it's not just about calories. It's also that you can lose more weight if you match your genes and your diet.
So this is actually proof that your genes do play a role.
They play a big role
in how you can lose weight. So it really makes sense to know what it is that you can and can't eat. Otherwise, you're just kind of wasting your time, almost, if you're just trying all these different diets and you're not sure how they're really affecting your body.
That's so true, and it is such a waste of time. So many people will say, I've tried this and I've tried that, and it works for a while, then it doesn't work. This gives you an answer, and it's just so exciting. I've been in this field for over 26 years, and it's the most exciting thing, I think, in the field of nutrition in my entire career.
It is a very exciting thing for people who have been trying to lose weight for many years. It's very exciting. Now, what if someone wants to get a test? Does insurance cover it?
Insurance does not cover the test. The test is done at a CLIA certified lab, but what insurance does cover is the nutrition counseling that goes along with the test.
Okay.
The test is actually $169, which I think is a really reasonable one-time investment, because if you were to go on a plan for 2 months and not follow the right plan, you're spending that money anyways. Or if you were to order foods from somebody, you're spending that in less than a week. So it's a pretty good investment. But here's what your results might look like after you do the mouth swab. It takes about 2 weeks to get your results. And this is just an example of the results for a carb reducer. Now, what's interesting is I took the test and I came out as a carb reducer, which I was surprised. I thought I'd have to be a fat reducer. But the carb reducer is not like an Atkins plan. You can still eat about 45% of your calories as carbs. Now, that may not mean a lot to people out there, but what it means is the dietitian then takes your plan and customizes your normal diet to what your genes say you should be having.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
This is just an example of a fat trimmer's results. They would come back and you can have about 20% of your calories as carbs. Now, I thought I'd come out as a fat trimmer. I basically, as a dietitian for almost 30 years, have eaten a balanced diet.
Yeah.
But the third category of people is a balancer. Only 10% of people are balancers and easily manage their weight. And I always ate a balanced diet. I'm not a balancer. 45% of people are carb reducers, and 45% of people fall into the fat reducer category. So when I took the test and came out as a carb reducer, for all these years, I've tracked my food. I'm a crazy dietitian. I want to know everything I eat.
You're a dietitian, so
right,
what you do,
right.
yeah.
So I know I eat about 1,800 calories every day. I go to jazzercise an hour every day. I've weighed the same for many years. And then I just tweaked my diet a little bit to follow the guidelines they told me. Still found I was still eating 1,800 calories. Much better hunger management. Still went to jazzercise an hour every day, but I was down 9 pounds. And I'm at an age where you don't lose weight.
Well, you've been very consistent with your diet over the years, and this one little change based on what your gene test told you has helped you to lose even more.
Yeah, it's really just
lose more weight.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Versus just maintain.
Wow,
yeah.
That's amazing.
So I brought a few examples of what things might look like for people. So if you were a carb reducer, and this was a sample breakfast for you, you could have 2 eggs. You could have a light bagel or those bagel thins. I always like to throw a little vegetable in every meal, so you have a tomato there. Yeah. And you could have 2 teaspoons of light butter made with canola oil. Or another option you have is if you really wanted to have some cheese with your eggs, you could switch those out and have egg beaters and then put in an ounce of cheese. Because you can have a little more fat, but you've got to watch the carbs.
Watch the carbs, exactly, the carb reducer, yep.
Now here's the fat trimmer. The fat trimmer can have the bigger bagel, not as much fat on it, and actually use more light butter. Here you could use egg beaters to get rid of the fat that you would find in the yolk. So the meals look very similar, but the differences in the two are very dramatic. And if you're a fat trimmer, eat this. You're going to lose 2 to 3 times more weight than if you have this meal. And if you're a carb reducer, this is the way to go.
It really makes so much sense to me because you hear about all these different diets and people say, oh, well, that didn't work for me, but it worked for someone else. Well, that's exactly why, because your bodies aren't all made the same.
We're all not the same.
Right. And this is the lunch option?
This is a lunch or a dinner option where you could have a wrap. Now, this happens to be a light wrap, and I chose the light wrap for both people. Lettuce and tomato in it, about 3 or 4 ounces of chicken in there. Now, if you're a carb reducer, you can still have a fruit, but here you'd have nuts and a cheese, okay? If you're a fat reducer, all we would do is switch out the high-fat foods, get rid of those, and bring in pretzels instead of nuts.
Some carbs.
And low-fat yogurt instead of the cheese. So you're getting rid of the fat and adding in some carbs.
That is so amazing.
So it can be very simple. It can fit anybody's lifestyle. There's no food you can't have, but it can make a dramatic difference.
That is Nancy, thanks so much for coming in to tell us about this.
You're welcome.
Amazing new breakthrough in scientific
You're welcome.
research. It really is incredible, so thank you.